Have you ever thought about the reasons of many of us coming here to this beautiful land called Guyana?
There's a land just off the Atlantic, land of jungles, waterfalls, and sweet scenery.
Most of us are here because of sugar.
We come cross the Caribbean Sea, mother, father, picnic, and we settle down in GT. We bend down on the coastal plain, the hot sun and pouring rain, and we planted the rice and cane. Yes, we take off the boots and we put down the roots. So the crabwood that grow in Essequibo is we own.
Our foreparents were brought to Guyana from the continents of Africa and Asia, specifically from India and China, as slave and indentured laborers to work on the sugar plantations.
So the crabwood that grow in Essequibo is we own. And the zigzag long bee and the sakiwinki is we own. And the lava that run from Govaya Gun is we own. And them Wallaba posts and the Coragine posts is we own.
It all started in 1658. Before the settlement of the provinces of Demerara and Berbice, when under the rule of the Dutch West Indian Company, 4 plantations were established on the Pomeroon River in Essequibo. The early sugar plantations progressed slowly. Times were unsettled. Portugal, Holland, France, Spain, and Britain were all competing for colonies in the West, and countries and colonies changed hands frequently, and there was a continuous movement of settlers. While the main crop was sugar, there were smaller areas under coffee and ground crops cultivation. However, the inland plantations became increasingly unproductive, owing to the years of cropping with little or no attempt to maintain soil fertility. By 1841, Berbice, Demerara, and Essequibo were finally ceded to the British. And under their rule, the sugar industry progressed so that 10 years later, the colonies produced some 12,000 tons of sugar. The maximum produced under the Dutch was some 4,000 tons in 1778. Therefore, by the beginning of the 19th century, there were nearly 400 plantations in Guyana. In a drive to increase efficiency, the sugar companies vigorously pursued modernization research and new techniques. By 1967, there were 18 estates: Albion, Portmoront, Blairmont, Providence, Diamond, Enmore, Lusignan, Houston, LBI, Ogle, Lenora, Rose Hall, Le Cabo, Skeldon, Iflet, Versailles, and Wales, serving 11 factories, 9 of which were owned and managed by Booker McCornell Limited, and the other 2 by the Demerara Sugar Company. In 1973, the main ownership of the sugar industry was in the hand of 2 London-based companies: Jacel Securities, which owned 2 factories and accounted for about 15% of the total sugar production; an independent Guyanese factory owned by the Veras accounted for approximately 5%, and Booker's McCornell 80%. 2 years later, in 1975, the Demerara Company estates were nationalized and became Demerara Sugar Company. In May 1976, the Booker estate was acquired by the government. This estate was merged with the Demerara Sugar Company estate, and the Guyana Sugar Corporation was established.